Wonder if I gave an Oreo. Wonder if I gave an Oreo. What if I gave an Oreo to you?
Hi, I'm Rob Eder. Welcome to another edition of DSN TV Executive Viewpoints. We're here today in Palm Beach, Florida at NACDS annual meeting, where I'm lucky enough to be joined by incoming NACDS chairman. He's also chairman, president, and CEO of Hy-Vee, Randy Edeker. Randy, welcome to the program.
Well, thanks for having me. This is good.
Randy, how would you describe the current state of the business? For retail in general, but also for community pharmacy. Are you an optimist or a pessimist, and then why?
Well, I've looked at retail pharmacy right now as this is a crucial moment, I would say first. I think that it's important, the work that we're doing with NACDS on working with regulatory oversight, working with government relations to really make sure that pharmacy is at the forefront of healthcare moving forward. And we're positioned perfectly to do that. If you think about the number of pharmacies across the United States, the retail pharmacies that are there, positioned within the community, in the right place, at the right time, to really capitalize on what I think will be transformational times in healthcare and health and wellness. We're positioned perfectly for that. And that's one of the reasons I came to NACDS, because it is such a crucial time to be involved and have that voice, and really a voice of reason, because it absolutely makes sense to have us as the face of neighborhood healthcare, as NACDS says. It is literally true right now.
Randy, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges facing the industry today for community pharmacy in general, but then specifically for a regional company like Hy-Vee?
Well, I think that there's always many opportunities. I think together we can overcome those. Again, that goes back to NACDS, but I think there's definitely some challenges in the way that the health community communicates, record keeping, how we make that customer centric so that it makes sense as a patient to be able to go and have the records that you need to get adequate care. I think that's going to be critical as we move forward. How does that work between the medical community, the pharmacy, and then the patient? That's critical. I think that managing the government oversight, the regulatory issues, I think that's critical, how we manage that piece, and then just informing the right people to understand that with any kind of legislative action comes challenges for us to deliver the right health care to the patient. If we keep it patient-centric though, patient-focused, I think that we can overcome those obstacles and challenges.
All right, Randy, you're stepping into a new role now as NACDS chairman. Talk a little bit about what your top priorities are going to be. And then, when your term's done, a year from now, what do you hope the stamp of your leadership will be? And how do you think, lastly, how do you think your background and your perspective as the head of a very successful regional chain, how do you think that's going to inform and influence your leadership?
Well, I think this is a natural extension for Hy-Vee. We've always been extremely focused on health and wellness for many, many years. We've been in the world of organic and natural foods for 30 years, which a lot of people maybe don't realize. Our focus on pharmacy started well over 50 years ago, and we don't see pharmacy as a novelty, as a grocery retailer. We saw pharmacy as a huge anchor to one portion of our store, just as we see culinary on the other side. They're equal to us. And so traditionally, I think in some food retailers, you don't see that. Pharmacy has been at the forefront of our advancing our health and wellness platform for years and years and years. And so our pharmacies are very high volume because it's a very high focus of ours. And so this is a natural extension for us. This isn't an oddity that Hy-Vee would be here. This fits perfectly. And so my stamp on where we go from here, I think, is just to advance the cause of neighborhood pharmacy. That fits us perfect. It fits the largest member here. It fits the smallest member here. If we stay focused on neighborhood pharmacy being the source of health and wellness for our communities, that fits perfect. That's what I want to do.
Hy-Vee as a company, Randy, I've always believed that you've been very, very incredibly innovative in the health and wellness space. You just mentioned, Hy-Vee was out there 30 years ago selling organics into the market before most people knew what organic meant. There's been some terrifically creative programs that you've developed for your own associates, for your customers, some terrific examples of partnerships that Hy-Vee has formed at the local level with employers. Can you talk to us a little bit maybe about the role that a company like Hy-Vee can play innovating in healthcare and driving and advancing pharmacy forward?
I think we've seen ourselves as we have the opportunity to be a catalyst and drive change on the side of health and wellness. One of the things that we've focused with our obvious interest in food, along with pharmacy and health, is the growth of dietetics, working with our dietitians. We have 225 dietitians at store level. We saw that as a real strong advantage for us to be there as a service. If you think about some of the area that we serve, the very rural areas, there are parts of Iowa, northern Missouri, and some of our rural areas where a county will have one dietitian in a county. So the only way you can see that dietitian is if you have a heart attack, or if you're pre-diabetic, or if you're at some form of clinical need. We saw by putting the dietitians at store level, answering the questions, and putting the dietitian on the front side of the illness rather than the back side is a great way to drive our position in the community in health and wellness, but also help create that team of your pharmacist as really the source of healthcare, and the dietitian in the store is a source of nutritional training. We've also combined that with our chefs because we believe it's important to make food taste good and be healthy. And so we see that as a great synergy. That's one area that I think we've helped drive healthcare in our area. I think also then just our alliance with key caregivers in our area, like Mayo Clinic to the north, University of Missouri, University of Iowa, many big leaders in the clinical side, the hospital caregiving side of the business that come together to help us be part of the solution rather than just an alternative place to go. We're part of that solution with them. And by bringing the clinics into our stores, combined with the pharmacists, the nutritional help, we think that's a real strong team moving forward. Those are just a few of the things. And then our mobile health units, we'll have 9 mobile health units by the end of this next year, really taking biometric screening and health and wellness out to rural areas that don't have access. We think one of the key things that we've done internally and externally is once people know their wellness numbers, they know their numbers, then they can take action. So that's another area we're pretty proud of.